live and pre-recorded. This is the Red Ticket Blues podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on September 10th to hit the internets on September 11th, 2015. How's everybody doing? This is my second attempt at this same podcast. I did it last night and it recorded a whopping 10 minutes of entirety, and it wasn't even a complete thought. So I wasn't going to publish that and confuse everyone, so I'm doing the same agenda again. Maybe it will be just as good, it'll be twice as bad, or twice as good. A lot of options to go for, a lot of options. I mean, this is spellbinding. This is a spellbinding podcast so far. Lots of options. Hey, if you want to listen to more of these podcasts, you can always listen on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube. Like us on Facebook, Red Ticket Blues, and what else? And you can follow at BrianBuck13 and the show at Red Ticket Blues on Twitter. So there's a lot to get to today. A lot to get to that I'm going to try to bring the same passion that I did last night, because I mean, last night was probably one of the best podcasts ever done, but you'll never get to hear it. I mean, it's a damn shame, but those are things you got to live with. Let's see, what do we got? We got baseball in New York. Baseball in general is winding down. We are in almost the middle of September now. The Yankees you don't have much faith in them, but they're still hanging around. They're 1.5 games out as we speak, and yeah, there is no game tonight, so that will be the standings tomorrow. As you listen to this on Friday, September the 11th. The Mets just keep going. They keep winning. We'll talk about them. We'll get into the NFL. It starts tonight, Thursday night. The New England Patriots get their rings, their flags, their everything. I don't know. A big hand. Everyone's happy for them there in New England. So they take on the Steelers in the first game of the year. I'll give you my picks going into Week 1, you say, oh, wow, Brian's picks. Oh, okay. If you don't remember, if you didn't listen to the beginning when this podcast was in its complete infancy, I don't know what the exact record was in the playoffs, but I took a wager on every game, or I gave you my pick for every game. I lost 2 games against the spread in the entire playoffs last year. So remember that. Remember that. So get your bookies on the line. Get your money ready to transfer over. Get to the ATM. Get ready, because I'm going to make you a lot of money. Results may vary. What else we can talk about? My Saturday night. Well, it wasn't that interesting. We can get into that. But Mike Francesa also. The Mike Francesa. And in the last podcast, Mark Mongo and I spoke about in depth of the simulcast entirety, the life of simulcast with Mike Francesa and the jaw-dropping announcement he dropped on Wednesday. We'll get into that. We'll get into the simulcast of a radio program that you normally listen to. To some people, it's the world. To others, no one really gives a shit. But keeping all that in mind, we're just going to put all of that, right? Put it to the side for 1 second. Just 1 second. Because I got a chance this last weekend and Tuesday night to spend some time with an old friend. An old friend of the podcast. And by that friend, I mean Matt Harvey.
Are you on an innings limit this year?
Yeah. I have no idea, I think.
Hey, I'm Matt Harvey.
Obviously, today's about Qualcomm.
One start in mind, and that's Tuesday.
Today's about Qualcomm.
So yes, Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight. Again, not to repeat myself, but if you've listened to the podcast before, I have been quite critical of Matt Harvey. And I'm critical of him now, as you could tell maybe with the tone of my voice and the glee in my spirit. I always said when the Mets finally turned on Matt Harvey, because you know what? When you're that pompous and you're that arrogant, and you haven't really done that much yet, the moment things don't go your way, it ain't going to be pretty. And he really did himself no favors yesterday. Or, excuse me, I should say on Saturday. So let's go back to the beginning of all this. Matt Harvey had Tommy John surgery last year. Last year, yes, and he had the whole year off. He came back this year. You didn't really hear, you heard maybe about innings limits. You heard Jimmy Train of Fox Sports ask Matt Harvey if there was an innings limit. He said, I don't even know. I mean, I'm too busy driving around my Maserati and, sipping wine, sampling the finest cheeses, fromage of the world. But, I just don't know. So it comes down that Scott Boras, his agent, has reached out, and it's strange. Why did he go public with it? Why did he? It must have been something going on with the Mets that maybe they weren't very reciprocal to. And the Mets medical staff, we all know about them. So can you blame Scott Boras? But what he said was there was a hard line innings limit of a soft innings limit of about 180 innings. 180 innings. And the Mets are like, I don't know about that. No, I'm not sure. So you know what? The media got Matt, and they said, hey, what's the deal here, man? And Matt did his own thing. He continued to deflect the questions, which is nothing wrong with. But then he let his guard down eventually after the pressure. He said, wouldn't answer questions about the playoffs. Then said, from as well as I know, for as long as I have heard, it's 180 innings limit. Now, here's the thing with Matt Harvey that I have the issue with. You know, you hear a lot of Mets fans say, how can you quit on us? How can you quit on this team? We have the mojo. This team has magic. You hear it every day. And, you know, they kind of do. I mean, Yoenis Cespedes has been on fire. That's a guy who I thought was it was a good accusation. I did not think it would be like this. You've heard me say on the podcast before, something's a little weird about the guy. He's been on 4 teams in like 3 years. But he has done nothing but be amazing. But going back to Harvey for a second, you know, the old school nature of someone like Bob Gibson or Sandy Koufax or anyone of that ilk, hearing that someone would take themselves out of a game, out of a season, is just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling that you would remove yourself. Not the manager, not anyone else. Even Steven Strasburg wanted the ball. Rizzo took him out, the general manager of the Washington Nationals. And you know what? I kind of side with Matt Harvey there. You got to look at it from... He never made... You know, Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax, they never made the kind of money that Matt Harvey stands to make. He has a career that he has to look forward to, that he has to look at in a business sense. Not like Sandy Koufax is throwing 9 million innings a game and then dipping his arm in ice for hours to the point where he can't even lift his arm. Times have changed. But here's my issue with Mr. Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, which is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard, because he's not Batman. He's not in movies. He pitches in New York. Sports Illustrated gave him that name, okay? You should see my arms around him, like Mad Dog. I mean, all I need is the headphone thing, and I'll be playing with it and chewing on it. The Dark Knight, and he has it engraved into his bats, too. I mean, the Dark Knight, that's great. Here's the thing, though, with him. The same guy, the Bulldog, who always wants the ball. He didn't want to hear about your 6-man rotation. He didn't want to hear about being taken out too early in games. Give me the goddamn ball. I want to play it. Don't take me out. And now it's, well, you know, this innings limit. What a 180. He's in a position now where he's screwed either way. If he takes himself out, because in reality, like the song said, what happened? Right now, nothing. There's just been talk. Nothing's really happened yet. He still pitched. He pitched on Tuesday. He sucked. Granted, there was an enormous error by Yoenis Cespedes. But Harvey did not have a good command of any of his pitches. Even if that error wasn't made, he would have let up 4 runs, possibly 5 with Cespedes, you know, his arm, though. So any other center fielder, I would have said 4, I would have said 5, but that would have left him giving up 4 runs, bases loaded, still, I think, 1 out. Who knows what could have happened. But he was done after that error. But he's screwed going forward. The Mets are going to make the playoffs. And if Harvey chooses, even though he's what he did was, he retracted from his meeting of the media in Miami. And you know what he did? In a cowardly fashion, ran to the Players' Tribune. Okay, Jeter's little brainchild, where the media, God forbid, where the players, God forbid, have to talk to the media. Here they have their own, you know, there's pillows, there's cushions, everything's fleece and velvet, and you just get to be comfortable and say what you want. And they give you really cool names like Deputy Chief or Bureau Chief of New York. Wow, that's a cool term. That's like when you go on the airplane and you meet the pilot and you say, guess what, you're co-pilot for the flight. Wow, look at me, I got the wings and everything. He is a Bureau Chief. That's great, Matt. Wow. Anyways, he's screwed for the 3rd time here. He's screwed if he decides to not pitch in the playoffs. Here's the problem. The Mets win the World Series. Let's say that happens. Matt, fans, team, we don't need you. We did it without you. You're a coward. You're a cowardly lion. Go back to Oz. Get some courage. And if they don't win, well, sure would have been nice to have the Dark Knight on the mound. You know, the guy who wants it all. But I don't envy the position he's in. I just wouldn't have handled it the way Matt Harvey's handled it. He's Matt Harvey. He cares about Qualcomm and Tuesdays. But the Mets seem to be doing fine with shitty starts from Harvey. All you have to do is play the Nationals over and over again because they seem to just blow it. I mean, Drew Storen the other night, good lord. Can that guy, he needs a long break from the game of baseball. Talk about a professional athlete that has lost everything he had in him. He had no competitive spirit. He was a deer in headlights, and it was painful to watch. Face red. I think Ron Darling even made the comment. And when Ramos, the catcher of the Nationals, came out there to talk to him, kept looking and looking at Matt Williams to make a move to get this guy out as he's walked the ballpark. And Matt Williams, I mean, he should be fired too. He's pretty awful. The decisions he makes in the course of a game are abominable. You let a guy, 2 pitchers, walk the ballpark. You bunt your best player. I mean, Joel Madden can get away with this stuff sometimes, most of the time because it works. But Matt Williams, no. I mean, the Nationals are fugazi, man, every year. And they're going to be blown up next year. Well, maybe not blown up, but the possibility to be blown up. Anyways, so the Mets are looking good, though. They continue. I'm looking forward to that Yankees-Mets series. That's next week, next weekend, right? Yeah, next week in the Subway Series. Trying to get tickets to that. Everything. I think standing room only are the only things under $100 for any of those games. Any of the 3 games, even the Sunday night game at Citi Field. So going forward with the Yankees, I still continue to look at them as a team that's not really that good. I don't enjoy watching them. I have no confidence in them. They have pitchers that sometimes pitch well. They have an offense that sometimes scores 20 runs. The next day they struggle to score 1. So right now they are 1.5 games back. Tonight's game was postponed, and it's been rescheduled Saturday as part of a single admission doubleheader, which you don't see that anywhere anymore. And out of the Yankees, the most unfan-friendly organization in sports. I mean, they haven't done anything this fan-friendly since probably they allowed fans even in the park to watch the players. I mean, usually they are just the cretins of dealing with fans, if that even makes sense. But forget the management. Forget the front office for a second. I mean, everyone's just going down. I mean, Eovaldi and Teixeira, you can put a fork in both of them. They're done for the year. Well, they're done for the regular season. Teixeira's done for it all. I mean, he made the comment today. I mean, listen, and I'll tell you about Mark Teixeira. He's a. I don't want to rip on him. I've never had a bone bruise. It doesn't sound very nice, but you can't rely on this guy anymore. You know, he's like that unreliable friend. You know, when he's there, it's a lot of fun, but you can't ever really depend on him being there. You call him up, yeah, I'll be there, yeah. Hey, yeah, have some drinks, get loaded, it's fun, but you don't actually expect him to be there. He's not really going to be there. So, I mean, that's where we are with Teixeira. I mean, and I hate to say it, but he's not our iron horse. But, I mean, this is Mark Teixeira talking to the doctor about the 2015 season, right here.
Is it 3 strikes, Doc? You want it straight? Sure I do, straight. It's 3 strikes.
That, of course, Pride of the Yankees, Gary Cooper. That movie actually won the Academy Award in, 1941. That's mind-boggling because it's a terrible movie. I've mentioned this before. But the quote he gave, Joel Sherman tweeted out the quote that Teixeira gave to Teixeira. Right now, my leg doesn't really work. That's not encouraging. But I don't think anyone's really expected him to be back anyways. My leg doesn't work. That sounds like something a kid would say after they fell and scraped their knee. Mommy, my leg doesn't work. Nathan Eovaldi, that's going to be rough, man. I mean, he's got a high ERA, but he's been pitching well lately. One of the consistent guys. I mean, this team, the Yankees, they continue to play right behind one of the hottest teams in baseball. And who's really going to pitch Game 1 or a deciding game if they get to the playoffs? I guess the easy answer would say Tanaka. Pineda's falling apart. CC, I mean, I don't think so. Eovaldi's out. He's out for the rest of the regular season, virtually. I would almost put Perella. Jose Perella. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is his name? I'm getting confused with the other guy. The young pitcher, the Dominican guy. I sound like an FAN call. Yeah, the Dominican, put him in. No, the Peralta. Yeah, the Peralta should be. He's considerable. He's considerable. Let's see. And you know what? This is another thing I got to nip in the butt with Yankee fans because they're getting out of control with this. And I am 110% guilty of this. When the Yankees are not hitting, they don't say, man, these guys aren't hitting. You know what a lot of Yankee fans do? They point right at Stephen Drew. And I am so guilty of it. And you know what it is? This is the thing. They got most of their power, their numbers, because they score with home runs. I mean, most of the production they've gotten is from Alex Rodriguez and Mark Teixeira. And Mark Teixeira is going to be out for the rest of the season. I don't care what anyone says. And Alex Rodriguez, he's hit a few home runs here and there, but outside of that, his production has dropped drastically. I mean, Stephen Drew is now, I don't know how this number actually is. This was, because again, I'm doing the podcast over again. So as of Wednesday night, he was batting .203 with 17 home runs, 44 RBIs, and an OPS of .662, which is god-awful. But he's also second most home runs behind Brian Dozier for second baseman in the entire major leagues. And you know what? He's fourth most on that team. He's fourth most in home runs. And since Teixeira's out for the year, take him out. He's the third most of active players. So these people saying, why isn't Refsnyder in the game? We need Rob Refsnyder. Oh yeah, Rob Refsnyder. The guy who has 2 goddamn career hits. And if he didn't hit that home run over the Green Monster, none of you would even be talking about it. Because all he had to show for before that was a seeing eye single up the middle against the Red Sox. Granted, it's 12 at-bats. Apparently his attitude has rubbed a few in the Yankee clubhouse and front office the wrong way. He's also a man without a position. Now, Drew had a little minor hiccup in the field last night. But other than that, he's usually a solid fielder. Look at me. I am defending Stephen Drew. What in God's name is going on? So I don't have much hope for the Yankees. Even after last night's loss, I said, they're not even going to make the playoffs. They're most likely going to make that wild card, even though Minnesota's only 2.5 games behind Texas. Or I'm also looking at numbers from last night. This is terrible. But anyways, I don't know. So put that to the side. I just want to tell everyone, this is just coming to me now. I actually went to Walmart today, and this is not a tired, hacky joke of Walmart. Walmart's so gross, the people at Walmart. I used to shop at Walmart all the time because those are the best deals were. I got the Walmart talk. But I said, I'm going to pay a little more. I'm going to pay a little more to be around a cleaner segment of society. I mean, but I had to go there the other day just to pick up a few things that they didn't have at Stop and Shop. What just a level of humanity. You go to Walmart all the time, then you stop going, then you go again, and just the level of humanity in that place. The New Haven Walmart. I mean, I'm sure there's worse places in the world. But, oh God, I want to put my hands in sulfuric acid to clean them from touching one of those disgusting carts. I don't know. I know this bit has been done 1,000 times, but this isn't even a bit. This is just me saying things. This is me being honest. Here's a little trick, actually, and you're all going to think I'm sick for this, that I do when I'm really bored in line at like Walmart or Stop and Shop. If the person in front of you is buying toilet paper, look at them and try to picture themselves using it. It's a disgusting practice. Believe me, you will regret doing it. But now that I've said it, you won't be able to stop. And this is probably where some people turn off the podcast and never listen to it again for the rest of their lives. I'm sorry I turned you off. But that's what happens. All right, so let's move on here. NBA playoff seeding, that's a good thing. They changed things. They rearranged how they're going to seed things in the future. Before, it used to be just the division winners would at least get the top 4 of the 8 seeds in each conference going to the playoffs. Now we'll just be the top 8, virtually eliminating divisions, which is fine with me. I mean, who really cares about divisions in the NBA? It's completely useless. They play 82 games. It's not like it's the NFL where there's really any division rival camaraderie, sort of we're all in the same division bullshit. So I think it's a great idea, and you know, it eliminates crappy teams. It's best of the best. I mean, half the league makes the playoffs anyways. We don't need people who are below that 50% to begin with. So I think it's a great move by Adam Silver. Another great move. The guy's physical appearance kind of creeps me out. But regardless, he's been a lot better. He's not there to look pretty. It ain't a beauty contest. He's done a lot better job in a short amount of time than David Stern has for a while. So we'll give him that. The NFL, I'm not going to bore you with an NFL preview, especially that I think with football, of all the sports, it's very difficult to see what a team has. People can make predictions all the time about the NFL. You can throw it out the window once the season starts. That's just the way I look at it. The big story you hear is the Spygate, Deflategate, that I don't even want to give it any attention, even though I brought it up. I mean, it seems like one big giant war between two giant assholes in ESPN and the New England Patriots. I mean, I've gotten so bored with this case, and I know people say, I just want this to end. It's so boring. No, really, I'm so sick of it. I don't even read the articles anymore. I just look at the headline. Great preparation. I just look at the headline and say, okay, it's another story about the Patriots cheating. We know they cheat. Come on. And you can't do anything. You're never going to do anything. So who cares? Just play with it. Whatever. Go. NFL picks. So, like I said last year, 2 losses in the playoffs, and I started the podcast right around when the playoffs started, so didn't really get a regular season under my belt. This could be a complete catastrophe, but we won't know unless make the picks. There we go. Sorry about that. So here are my I picked 3 games, and we'll keep score going every week. How I'm doing. I got 3 favorites this week. The first one, the Panthers over Jacksonville. I think this is the year. Even though Kelvin Benjamin, this Carolina Panthers wide receiver, tore his ACL and is out for the year, I think this is the year Cam Newton takes that next step. He is a great quarterback. He's going to move into the higher tier of quarterback this year. I don't even like Cam Newton. I've ripped him on the show before, but I think this is the year. He just has to. I really want him to stop doing the Superman thing. These choreographed moves, leave them in the WWE. They're just beyond stupid. But I like them over Jacksonville. I don't really even know much about Jacksonville, but they're just perennially, they're bad every year. You got the Panthers -3. These are according to Bovada. And even though Panthers are playing on the road against Jacksonville, I think that will be a victory. I'm also picking a team that I probably won't pick any other time this year. The New York Jets. They're playing Cleveland. They're playing the Cleveland Browns in New York. And the Jets are -3. The way I look at this, Cleveland stinks. And the Jets, I think, not that they're any good, I think the whole new regime, playing at home, a lot of energy, I think that's going to propel them to a Game 1 win. How often will that happen this year? I don't know. Probably more than the Giants. But who knows? Odell Beckham, he's another guy. Listen, before I get to the next, I'll save it about Odell Beckham. I got a thing to say about him. And the last pick here is the Cardinals, -2.5 over New Orleans. You got Carson Palmer back healthy, which that has to be an oxymoron. He's not healthy. Carson Palmer healthy. Those 2 words don't seem to be right? Matt Barkley's there now to replace Palmer, which can actually open up the door for Tebow again. But the Cardinals are playing New Orleans. Drew Brees is another year older. No Jimmy Graham. I think the Cardinals will win that handily. So those are my picks. They're all favorites. Panthers -3, Jets -3, Cardinals -2.5. And to Odell Beckham, he's another guy from the Harvey ilk to a certain extent. In his rookie year, much like Harvey, didn't have anything to play for. He did great, though. He's playing with house money. 2 amazing athletes. And I want to say this about Harvey. Even though he struggled on Tuesday, that is a guy I have not ripped, and for good reason, about his play on the field. The guy is amazing. He is a competitor. I will not rip that. I will not criticize that. That is my vow to you. until he screws up, and then I'll be all over him and say, I told you so. But Odell Beckham, last year with the Giants, didn't really have much to play for. And he made some amazing plays. He's another guy who's enjoying the limelight in New York. He's enjoying the attention. When things don't go his way, it is going to be ugly. It is going to be very ugly. I don't want to call him a prima donna yet. But he's right on the border there. Now, I think I just read before we came on live and pre-recorded, Eli Manning was about to sign a deal, 4 years, 80-something million, so that'll keep him there for a few more years with Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham is an amazing talent. Great skills. Just freak athleticism that you don't see every day. You don't see that out of all wide receivers. But when things don't go his way, it ain't going to be pretty. So, 25 minutes in, haven't even talked about what beer I'm drinking tonight. So we got the, what is this? Clown Shoes. Yes, Clown Shoes out of, let's see. It's Mercury Brewing, actually. It's called Clown Shoes, Mercury Brewing, out of Ipswich, Massachusetts. So Clown Shoes, this is batch 2, Lemon Drop Space Cake Double IPA. This product does not contain lemons. Well, what the fuck? It's got a pretty cool graphic on it. It seems like some sort of tripped out Minuteman. Looks like something from like Star Fox from N64 with all these crazy graphics on the middle of space, but it's actually pretty good. It's 8% alcohol. Nathan Hale is a global patriot. We viewed a version of Space Cake. Go, Nathan, go. All right, well. I think it's pretty good. I got a sort of the pint here, which the pints that they sell for like craft beers always seem like a lot more than a pint, but I'm not arguing. And I got fucking beer all over this. Classy. Let's see, what did I do this weekend? Anything interesting? No, not really. I saw a play in the park. Yes, a play. Shakespeare, 12th Night. It was interesting. I'd never really been to a play in the park before. I sat on the... Is that thunder? I guess people bring out their garbage. I'd never really been to a play in the park before. I mean, yeah, it had the Yale douchebags, but it's to be expected. It's a play in the park. I mean, you can't get angry at that. And none of them got in front of my car yet. But the thing is, we sat there. It started at 8. You had to be there at 6:30, and man, my back hurt. I'm getting old, 35 years old, and my back hurt. So, I'm not really sure the point of this story. I guess this is Brian reveals we grow old with Brian. Next week, Metamucil. Why does it cost so much? And the last thing... Voice got a little high there. And the last thing today is the Mike Francesa is no longer... I mean, again, I'll acknowledge the podcast from last time with Mark Mongo. Mark Baldwin, and we discussed Mike's journey from Yes to Fox Sports and simulcast and the future and what's going on. Mike, with Colin Cowherd going to Fox Sports, Mike's, his airtime got cut to Fox Sports 2 and sometimes Fox Sports app. Yeah. I'll say this, and I don't want to offend anyone. If you're watching a simulcast of a radio program on a phone app, you gotta have something better to do. But now Mike has announced that today, if you're listening to this on September the 11th, today will be his last day on Fox Sports. It's probably a good reason, and, bottle this up and keep it for a rainy day. Mike took all the blame. He ate a lot of crow, humble pie, you name it. He said it was his fault. It was his fault. He wanted to try some things. He admitted he took the most money at Fox Sports, which was not a shocker. And is anyone really shocked that it didn't work? Forget what Fox actually had in mind. This was Mike Francesa, a blustery New York loudmouth. This doesn't play all across the country. It plays in this area, and a guy who basically exclusively talks about regional teams. Some guy in Arkansas doesn't care about the Mets bullpen. It's not interesting. And he also probably, a lot of people outside the Northeast, they're friendly to each other. So if you're going to call up a program, when someone screams at you for no reason, that kind of turns them off. But what is next for Mike? That is the million-dollar question. And a lot of people say MSG, Madison Square Garden. It makes sense. It's local. Mike is boys with, maybe not Jim Dolan, but he's boys with people there at MSG. Because he always sees them break that hockey news. We all thought that before, too. He said he's listening to offers. There's a lot of offers. People asking, we got to buy the time, take a look at things. Terrible Mike Francesa impersonation. But who knows? That'll be interesting. I really don't care because I'm at work. But if I do call, I like to pat myself on the back and say, there I am, and send it to people and put it on Facebook. And, a few people question, like it. And then other people say, what is this? And was that you? Or who is Mike Francesa? And then I just ignore all of that. So that's what Facebook's for. By the way, like us on Facebook. And leave a review. No, we're not there yet, Brian. But, good for Mike. He got out of a bad situation. The whole Fox Sports thing, I think, was threatening his career at CBS, too. And I think everyone came to an agreement. Mike's never going to reveal any of this information or even give CBS the satisfaction that it was... Well, that's not true. He did say it was his fault, so you do have to give Mike credit there. He ate crow. I mean, you really better hold on to that one. I'm not sure if the world is actually still spinning on its axis after that. So that's the show for this week. This is my second attempt at the podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You would have really loved the first one, but no one will ever get to hear it. And if I do find it, it'll be on eBay, an MP3 file. So I want to thank everyone for listening. If you're new to the show, thank you for listening to the first time. And for my faithful, dedicated fans across the world. Yes, it is a global program. My friend Scott lives in Australia, and he listens to the show. That makes it global, so screw off. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your day on this terrible day. Not terrible day, but a somber anniversary. An anniversary is not even the right word. A somber remembrance in this country on September 11th. I was actually just starting school at St. John's University in September of 2001. And I had just started. I just turned 21. I thought, wow, this is great. I'm going to school in New York City. I'm 21 years old. I am just going to, God knows what I'm going to do. And I actually had a class on September 10th. September 10th, a Monday night class. And if you're familiar with St. John's University, when you're walking down past a computer lab on top of a hill near the Asian Society building, you can see a big shot of the New York skyline. And I thought, wow, how cool is this? And who knew a few hours later that the world, and especially New York City, would be changed forever. So, it's a tough day, and I don't know, it's got a little too serious on the Red Ticket Blues podcast. But I want to thank all of you for listening, and it's a tough day, and I hope anyone who, luckily I had no one that went through. I wasn't really personally involved in any way, but I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast are in the New York, New Jersey metros, the tri-state area, who do know people that perished, people's lives that were changed. So let's give all of them their thoughts today, because it is a rough day. So you can continue listening to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube. Let's see. I said all that. TuneIn Radio, yep. Follow the show at BrianBuck13, at Red Ticket Blues, and like us on Facebook. And hey, remember to leave a rating or review on those sites, because it really does help. And next week we do have next week there may be a guest. I'm trying to arrange it, and I think it'll be kind of interesting. We've had guests on the show. This would be the first professional person on the show. Professional working in the sports world. So that's all I'll leave it at right now. And looking forward to bringing you that. And with that, I'm out of here.